think a really good way to start a podcast episode about sole operators. So we call them onesies.
We
Please
do.
don't take offense to that. It's like trolley dolly. You're not allowed to say trolley dolly or what else? What else do you call airline support crew? You're not allowed
I
to.
absolutely call them trolley dollies.
Ah, woke bullshit. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's skip that. Um, I think a good way to start this episode is that Linda and I have spent the last 4,800 years, blood, sweat, and tears, creating a program, an offering to support solo entrepreneurs, onesies, contractors, renter chairs, renter rooms, whatever you want to call it. And that was fucking hard.
It was harder than I thought. Was
It
it
was
harder
harder
than
than
you thought?
anything else that I've done. It's so layered.
I think so much. You think, yep, I understand what I need to deliver for this. And then you start scratching the surface and it is very layered.
Yeah. Sometimes I've scratched the surface of things and kicked the dirt back over it and gone, get back to that later.
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes that's the good idea. But I think with this, because it's become more apparent and more of a thing in the industry, I think it was really fascinating
Mm,
picking on pulling the layers back, wasn't
mm,
it? And
absolutely.
digging a little bit deeper.
Yeah. And I think, before we pressed record on this episode, Linda and I had a quick chat and we had to get on the same page of what we're going to discuss and cover. Like ultimately, for this area of the industry, it should have its own podcast with 127 different episodes. So hopefully you have already looked at how long this episode goes for and you've committed yourself. However, I think we both have meetings in 45 minutes, so I think it's not going to be that long anyway. So let's see how we go.
Look, it might be part one of a part two, three, four, five. Who knows?
That's right, exactly. Anyway, let's get into it. And I think that whether you are a onesie, whether you're a salon owner in a shop front, whatever, I think definitely by the end of this episode, you will agree that there's so many different layers and complexities with being a sole operator in our industry. And I think that a good place to start is with, that narrative in the industry of everyone's going solo. Are they or are they not? Is that still a thing? Was it ever a thing? Why? Why are they doing that? Why do you want to do that? Why have you done that? So, and again, that's broad. That could be the topic of the whole episode, but
Could be.
let's keep it short and sharp so we can cover a lot of ground. How's that?
Sounds fabulous. I suppose I would firstly ask, well, is everyone becoming a onesie? I know I hear that and it's kind of the zeitgeist, but often when
Mm,
you dig a bit deeper, it's actually not reality. But for those people who actually are becoming onesies, there's a whole lot of reasons there, maybe as to why they want to go down that path.
mm. I think like COVID definitely impacted that. I think people had their jobs on ice and then thought, well, what do I want to do? So there was definitely an influx there. I think people were able to get out of their leases, so they thought, well, this is a good opportunity, and it was.
Mm.
It was a good opportunity. So I think definitely an influx there, but I think it's that whole filter. If you speak to two people that are now sole operators, you go, everyone's leaving. No, it was only two, but
Because it was the last two people that you spoke to, so
that's right.
everyone,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I think but there's definitely waves of people that are doing this more than ever before, because there's more information about it. I know 5 or 6 years ago, someone would come to me and ask about, oh, I'm going to rent a beauty room, or how do I pay a contractor? Does she pay me? Like, how does it work? Like, we don't get that as much anymore because it's more of a done thing. Whereas America, like, it's the opposite. Very
Mm.
rare you come across a salon or a clinic in America where they're not booth rental, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Well, I
Yeah.
think there just wasn't the availability. If you wanted to
Yeah.
become a sole operator pre-COVID, where did you go?
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
how could you
Absolutely.
rent a room or rent a space or rent a chair? I think maybe the beauty aesthetics industry did it a little more.
Yeah. Like
Um,
injectables and so
yeah,
on.
because
Yeah,
they
of course.
might be in a medical suite where they would be a onesie in their own room. But um, coming into the hair industry and more classic beauty and skin industry, I think it definitely was a COVID thing.
Yeah,
We all
absolutely.
wanted more flexibility. We all wanted more control over our time and our hours and our boundaries, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think probably in the last 6 months, yes, there's been I think a rise and a plateau. Um, and I'm hearing a lot about I'm a sole operator and I'm not making money and I'm struggling and
Mm,
I've got no boundaries and I work 7 days a week, but with scattered clients all across the week. So sole operators needing and wanting support. Um, and I'm also seeing a lot of people that are going, I gave that a red hot crack. I did a whole year or two financial year, and my accountant said, that's shit money. And I'm working all these hours, and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And that salon down the road that's advertising for team and has been doing for 6 months is paying bloody good hourly rates. I'm going to
yeah,
get back into the shop front environment. So I think the what we're seeing is the influx has plateaued. There's more education around it. People are looking for support, hence us delivering the program and that motivating us to do it more than ever because of the sheer amount of inquiries
yeah,
um, for coaching support. But we are seeing an influx of people getting back into mainstream, normal employed status. So,
yeah. I think that there's a lot that a technician might not consider when they first have to become a onesie. So they might get all the setup happening, but are they considering that they actually have to be everything to this business? They have to control their stock. They have to be the accountant. They have to be the pay mistress. They have to be the cleaner. They only get paid when they work. I mean, there's so much that maybe they hadn't considered before they actually took that leap. And so you're right, I'm seeing some of those people who were doing rent a chair, rent a space, wanting to go back and work in a clinic or a shopfront or a salon where they get more support and they're
yeah,
more in a team environment. I mean, it's pretty lonely working on your own.
yeah, it is absolutely.
It
Yep.
can be. If you're a beast who likes people around you,
Yeah.
you're not necessarily going to enjoy that onesie experience because even
Mm.
though you might be in a space where there's 10 other people, I do go to these, and actually where I have my hair done myself, they're both different salons I go to are both onesie spaces. And they don't even talk to each other sometimes, the
It's
operators.
so uncomfortable.
It's so uncomfortable. And you can arrive and no one gives a rat's about who you are. If that you're not their client, you don't get attention, which from a client-based point of view is not great. And that's a rabbit hole we can go down
Yeah.
later.
There's
But
so many rabbit holes. Like I
there's so
keep on
many.
falling into them and twisting my ankle.
I know the same.
So,
But yeah, it's not for everyone, and it's okay to try it, and it doesn't work, and come back to working for a well operated business where you
yeah.
get support and you get your needs met without having to be everything to everybody.
Yeah. So, can I make this all about me for a
Yeah,
second? Yeah,
yeah,
great.
perfect. It's what you do best, Chapman.
Was it? Yeah, I was going to say it wasn't really a question. It was more of a statement. Um, so if I became a sole operator in
Mm,
whatever capacity, based on what I know around my performance and ability to earn money in the hairdressing industry, I'd make bank.
yeah,
I'd be doing snow angels in hundreds.
yeah,
Um, however, uh, the boundaries would kill me because I
mm,
wouldn't have any.
mm,
Because my opening hours would be whenever you want.
mm,
So I think there's a money thing, and I think particularly when you've worked in a salon, there's and salon owners that it's often a topic of conversation. How much do I share with the team about numbers and money and break even and profitability and all of that stuff? Because it is a fear that if I share with my team how much dollars they're generating for the business, they won't have an understanding of how much money we don't keep,
Yeah.
or that we do keep when we're really profitable, and they'll go, "I want a bit of that myself." Uh, and I suppose that's a fear that we have to honor. It's real, and people do leave and do their own thing because they have counted the dollars and they go, "I want more of that piece of the pie for me." So that's
I think, yeah, sorry, Jay. I think what happens is that business owners might share, these are our revenue and these are our targets, but they don't share the costs and they don't share the heartache and the back end of stuff. So I think it's business owners' responsibilities to share a little bit of all of that.
yeah,
A little
absolutely.
bit of, yep, this is the revenue this week, but this is how much it costs me to just open my doors.
Yeah.
You know?
Not in the early days, and it's actually not that difficult. Um, in the early days when a coaching client would come to me and say, "Oh, I've got a team member that wants to swap from wages or salary to, doing a percentage split, that type of thing." Or, a sole operator, potential sole operator reached out, wanted to crunch some numbers, paid for our time. Um, when you look at, say, a $3,500 week, what they currently take home, their hourly rate, their superannuation, their holiday pay, their sick pay, the tax that they'll be paying, the fact that they'll need a booking system, and you go, yeah, that's less money,
Mm,
or that's on par. So
mm,
I think sometimes it's not a money thing for some people. It's a there's a toxic reason and a good reason.
mm.
So the toxic reason is I'm a pain in the ass. I have a complete inability to be able to work with other people because my emotional intelligence is that of a nit. So I'm going to go work for myself.
You're describing me.
Yes. So you didn't pick up on that. Anyway, um, eh, so there's that. You don't want them back. You do not want them back in your team. Sayonara, operator. Go be toxic in your own environment. But that's not everyone. Of course, that's not everyone. But the other motivator is time, flexibility.
Mm,
I want to choose my own hours. I want to work when I want to work, and I don't want to work Saturdays anymore, but that's not an option, and so on. But I do find that that's one of the biggest challenges for sole operators, don't you think? That uh, you go, yes, there's the money motivator, but I want the lifestyle and the flexibility, but then those boundaries
mm.
become so weak, and you end up working here, there, and everywhere, and it ends up being a mess.
Yeah,
The boundaries are more so blurred when you are given the choice and no parameters of opening hours. It actually does the opposite. It can backfire if you don't have really good, strong boundaries. Mm.
completely. I even see a similar thing, but with clients pushing the boundaries because your clients know you're a sole operator. If you give incredible flexibility and incredible no boundaries with that flexibility, then you suddenly find yourself doing a client at 7 o'clock in the morning because the client convinces you that that's the only time they can come. And then suddenly they want 7 o'clock in the morning appointments constantly. And then suddenly you start on a Saturday at 7 o'clock in the morning. That didn't give you what you were looking for, did it?
Mm.
You were looking to
Well,
start at 10 on a Saturday or.
and I think sometimes we get confused in our own mind of that line between exceptional customer service and being flexible and people pleasing.
And people pleasing, yeah. And
Yeah,
I see, especially in the hair industry, but I see it in beauty industry as well. There's a lot of people pleasers in our industry.
yeah, yeah.
It
With the people pleasing has a mask on of, oh, it's just good customer service, or I bend over backwards and I'm proud of that. And you go, oh, it's starting to get into the other realm, which is, uh, give, 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 take a mile at your detriment.
At your
Yeah.
detriment, yeah.
Yeah.
So go back and think about why you wanted to become a sole operator in the first place, and is it still meeting those needs? Or
Mm.
are you finding yourself working all crazy willy-nilly hours with big gaps in the middle of the day? If you were working in a business doing that, you wouldn't. You just wouldn't
Mm.
be doing that in a larger, you know, bigger business. So
Mm. Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
very interesting.
And I think that, when it comes to working in a shopfront business, um, there are expectations, core values, standards that sometimes we don't like. We push back on because it may not necessarily be the way that you would do things, or the standards are set for you to level up. And we know that most of our brains are designed to take the path of least resistance, the easiest way out of things. So when you're feeling that tension of, well, this workplace and everyone else in it and my boss and my leader have these expectations, you benefit from that. Of course, you benefit from it because it extends you. Whereas that can get eroded when you are working by yourself. However, I think definitely more so for you, Linda, in terms of that old saying of do the right thing when no one's watching.
Yes.
Whereas that applies to you. More so for me, it's do whatever the fuck you want because no one's watching. So I think if you really back yourself 100% and you have really strong boundaries and structure and you set a guide for yourself and an expectation you follow through 100%, then it can work really well. But if
Mm,
you do lack structure, um, or you see the value of structure but your follow through is weak, or you drift and deviate, which is probably more common for the more creative type, which tends to be hairdressers more so than beauty therapists. Beauty therapists like more of a methodical approach. It's how
yeah.
they're wired. Then you have to see that as a real challenge.
Mm.
That there's going to be when no one's watching, what will I do? Will I scroll on TikTok and eat hot chips and go to the shops, or will I actually do what I'm meant to do to grow my business?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's also a really good opportunity for sole operators to really level up that industry, that solo operator industry, and give that extra level of customer service rather than working in a business that, a warehouse situation with a whole lot of solo operators. Why not take the initiative and get your heads together and say, what can we do collectively to make this a better experience for all of us as operators, but also all of our clients? Might
Mm,
be sharing certain things so that the salon still has a cohesive feel and everybody, the client journey is beautiful. And it takes a little bit of a load off you as a solo, maybe if you're not going to be in your space for an hour and someone comes in to ask something of you, or you
mm,
go out for lunch or something, knowing that your clients, no matter what, are going to be taken care of if they drop in is something that I think solo operators could level up. And I think
mm,
that there's a really good opportunity for those who are solo to just consider that client journey side of things from specifically the client's perspective, because I feel like it's overlooked quite a bit.
mm.
Um,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Mm.
So
And
yeah, it's interesting. I totally see. I could be the sort of person that could do that, to be a solo operator without a doubt, because I'm all the things that I know you
mm,
would say. I'm picky. I'm opinionated. I'm structured. I like things done my way. It's my way or the highway. And I know, though, my biggest struggle, and I've seen it with other solo operators, is working in an environment where if Jay next to you is a messy bugger who drops colour all over the floor, leaves his mess everywhere. As a solo operator, you actually don't have any control over that. And your
mm,
client is subjected to that experience. Are you going to be
mm,
happy with that? Is that something that you can cope with? And if you can, fine. Otherwise, you need a collective situation where within that collective of solo operators, be it beauty rooms or hair, you have a place where you can have that conversation. Because when you're working in a business that is run by an owner, if you follow what we always teach, you are having regular meetings, you're having one-on-ones, you're having team meetings, so everybody gets to express how they feel and what they might want to change or do differently. It's not
Mm,
like that necessarily in a solo situation,
mm,
but I think it could be. And I think there's an opportunity for solo operators out there to actually put their collective heads together a little bit and make the experience for themselves better and
mm,
for their clients a little bit better.
mm. And I think that there will be more of that in the future. I
Mm,
can guarantee that. And I think we've definitely seen, forgotten its name, it's in Sydney and somewhere else, a big collective, and they have makeup artists and hairdressers and beauty therapists in suites. And they do offer, collective education and like lots of different things. And I think it's fantastic. But I think that need for being solo and independent, that's not the right fit for a lot of people. They kind of solve a niche in between. But it's interesting, like if we were to steer the conversation towards a traditional shopfront salon clinic owner, it's very common that they think or get approached by someone that says, "I'll rent a room.
mm,
Um, I want to work for you, but as a contractor," or they think, "Oh, these team are pains in the ass. I'm just going to get some independence because that'll fix all my woes."
mm,
And I know that the first time I really started to get exposed to this on a bigger scale was when beauty and skin was starting to work out that if you got an injectable nurse or doctor to rent a room for $250 a week, which is half my rent or whatever, and they don't think that's much money because they're nurses and doctors and they earn good wages and they're injecting $7 million worth of stuff. Like they'll pay that.
mm.
Or, oh, we split the profit. They're making good money now. I am too. But the amount of times that's backfired because you're taking people that have worked in the medical field, you're putting them in a customer service role and aesthetics. And some of them they just saw dollar signs. They're
Mm,
just injecting and I remember a funny story. Um, a client rented a room to an injectable nurse years ago, and she said, "Oh God, I don't know what to do because people are starting to say I had my lips done at that place. I had my injectable services done at that place. It wasn't at that place. It was by my independent contractor, but they label my brand that my eyes are cocked because I had my injectables done there. No, you didn't have it
mm.
done there. It's separate. Clients don't give a shit.
Clients don't see that. You don't
Yeah.
understand that. Yeah. And especially if it's a skin clinic with one treatment room that's being um, rented to an injector. They
Mm,
inject their clients, but they inject, pardon my pun, but they inject their business with them and their values and the
mm.
way
Or lack
they,
thereof.
or lack thereof, the way they interact with others. So your team are also going to be injected with that person's demeanor, the way they see their clients in and out. Yeah, it's a
Mm.
little bit of that that's going to rub off. But I've got a question, Jay.
Fire away.
So you're a solo operator, you love it, you're committed, you know that you need to polish up a few things. What would be the biggest thing that you would start focusing on to make more money, to be more productive in the hours that you work?
Time.
Yeah,
Time.
yeah,
Um, Meaning I would first, what are my hours?
yeah.
And I'd stick to that because I'm not going to be productive when I'm resentful that I'm working too much and I'm not rested. So time, in terms of boundaries and commitment, and then working on my business and what specifically I'm working on. And again, a commitment that it's Wednesday from 9 till 2:30. That's when I work on my business. I don't take clients. Or Monday and Wednesday or whatever. And these are the things that I work on that move the needle that I do not budge on. Uh, so yeah, time in terms of balance and uh, working on the business, working in the business and
Yeah,
downtime. Yep.
yeah. Working on
And
your,
then
yeah,
yeah, but that's not a sole operator specific thing. I actually think it's harder because your team keep you accountable to follow through.
correct. Yeah, yeah,
You're not just feeding your mouth, you're feeding others. So you have to follow through. When no one's watching, yeah, those boundaries and working on the business, it's trickier.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think something that solo operators who I come in contact with, the one thing they don't do is work on their business. They
Mm.
might think they've got a business day, but that business day is just stock ordering. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Admin.
and maybe meeting with a rep. It's admin. They don't actually work on their business, and they're not self critical. So they're not looking at their own KPIs and numbers and opportunities to grow their average spend or increase their revenue because it's just them. So they don't keep themselves accountable very well, like you
But
said.
maybe uh that's maybe what they were trying to get away from.
Maybe it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe they hated making home care plans for clients for their skin or for their. But if you have a passion for your industry, hair, beauty, injecting, I would think you would want that follow through. But I'm a freak, so maybe not.
Mm.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
is something that I see that isn't happening, and I think, oh gosh, if you just spent 2 hours a week thinking a little bit more creatively and how to work on your business, you could actually not have to work any more hours, but you could probably add at least another 50% to your income
Mm. Absolutely. 100%. And that's uh if you want to,
if
and
you
if
want
you
to.
are committed and disciplined. And
Totally.
again, there's absolutely no judgment on anyone that becomes a solo operator, not because you're motivated by money, but you want that flexibility and balance. But just know that the risk is that you have to action that and follow through and that's not always the case. And
Mm,
there's going to be a point in time where money becomes more relevant to you. You're in a season now where balance is flexibility or, making your own choices is super relevant to you, but there's going to be a time when money bites you in the ass.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Because, yeah, if you're younger, like a lot younger than me, then you probably want to have free time. You don't want to work Saturdays because you've got lots of social things to do when you want to go to festivals and blah, 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 blah. But remembering that down the track, or even not that far down the track, um, it's not money for money's sake. It's what money can do for you. So money buys you flexibility. It buys you freedom. It buys you choice.
It buys you the tooth that got knocked out.
Yep.
It
It
like
buys you the
it,
medical assistance that you need because you've been partying too long, whatever, whatever.
I remember a few years ago, I wasn't really paying attention when I was driving and I went up a gutter, turned into a street and went up a medium strip and just bang, it hit so hard. And then my car flashed at me. Low tire pressure, low tire pressure. So I destroyed my tire and then had it replaced. That was $50 billion because that's how much
Easy.
tires cost. Yeah,
Yeah.
not exaggerating. Never exaggerate.
Right.
And I shit you not, it was a matter of weeks. Big tech screw in
Mm.
another tire, replace that tire again. And sometimes you can pay $40 and they plug it up or whatever. Uh, not with this hole. It
No.
was too big or they gaslit me and made me think that I needed a new one, whatever. But
Mm.
that those tires were like $400 each. And I
Yeah,
think,
easy.
well, where do you find that 800?
Mm. But what if you just don't want to work as many days? You could say, I'm working 5 days a week. I'm doing 35 to 40 hours and I'm doing pretty well and I'm really happy with the income that I've got. But what if you could take it to the next level and say, I can earn that same income every week, but I could work 3 days? How do I do that?
Well, firstly, if you're a hairdresser, Linda,
Yes.
if you're a hairdresser, then what you're going to do is you're going to do that and you're going to drop your 3 days and you're going to jam everyone in. And then you are going to go, I can't keep on stacking clients and doing clients in processing times because there's no one checking my foils. And then I've got to rinse the back panels. So then you decide to only look after one client at a time. And then even create a bit of buffer time either side and stretch out the timings because it's hard when Mary arrives 10 minutes early and you're 15 minutes behind because you put a men's haircut in between. So you end up looking after 10 clients a week and you don't make the money. So I think, if you're working in an environment where there is a level of support, even Linda, won't be a moment, take a seat. Would you like a coffee? Or not even the coffee, just the won't be a moment, totally fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Just
But
somewhere to sit.
yeah, but I answered your question in a way of what I wanted to get across. What was your question?
I know. That was a J. That was a J
Sorry.
answer. I wanted
But
you to say,
okay.
well, have we got a program for you? But, that's not necessarily the
Oh, you
correct
wanted to
answer.
go in with the hard pitch.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
why not? No, no, I guess it wasn't just that. My theory is, and I see it because I do go to what I have my color done at one salon and I have my extensions done at another, and they both
Mm,
work in those environments without naming any names.
yeah.
And I, because of my background, I sit there and I'm a judgy person, as you know, and I'm going, they should do that, they should do that. Why are those flowers dead? In fact, the last time I went into, I actually took away the dead flowers
Yeah.
in the space and put them. I'm like, I'm walking into your back room because I can't look at these dead flowers any longer. And I just thought, there's so much that could have been done to improve that level of client experience from what you're saying. But also, that conversation about future plans, I don't find that happens so much in the sole operator businesses that I have contact with, not just where I frequent, but people that I speak to. It's
Mm,
more about getting through the day, like you said, because you haven't got the apprentice to help you. You haven't got, even if you're in skin, you haven't got the front of house to, take your client through, to get the products, to book them in for next time. You're doing that all for yourself. And so things get missed because of time. So time is definitely
mm,
the
yeah.
essence. And I think that you could be more discerning maybe with the clients that you have if you were to level up that experience for them and what you deliver to them. And you could start to, you always hear about, oh my God, Linda's coming in today. Oh, she's a pain in the ass. I wish I never had to do her hair anymore. Well, wouldn't it be awesome to say, I'm sorry, Linda, I actually can't fit you in the next 6 weeks. I'll put
Mm,
you on my waiting list. And
yeah.
eventually Linda goes somewhere else and you're like, yes, got rid of her,
Yeah.
like maybe there's a
Absolutely.
little bit of that,
Yeah.
because that being a sole operator allows you more options with who you take care of, because it's not
Yeah.
somebody else just booking people in your book, you're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
you control how long you want to spend with the client and
Mm,
what your conversation is going to be with that
mm,
client and how
yeah.
much of the reason they've come to see you. There's a lot of social, I think, in sole operator. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's great. But
Yeah.
there's also that they're there for another reason, to look fabulous, whether it's
Mm,
being injected or whether it's having your hair done or having a skin treatment. They're there to come out looking better than they did when they walked in.
mm, absolutely. Yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
I think one level of I think complexity, apart from what we've spoken about already, and look, don't get me wrong, this is mainly to go, let's lay some things out on the table so we can see reality, because I think we have rose-colored glasses on and think this is going to be perfect, amazing. It is, it's going to be. But there's also these things you need to consider.
Mm.
I think there's two things that I really wanted to mention. One is the added layer of complexity when you do this from home.
Oh,
Um, And the other is, uh, hey, Linda, salon owner, you know how you got your four employed team members? Let's pop a contractor in the mix who has their own rules, how that lands. Because I think that is, th those two things are super important. So, my opinion first. Uh, there's home-based salons that cheapen the industry and do things wrong. And you knock on the front gate or the front door because you've got an appointment, and Nancy has her 57 children rush down the hallway when you walk through, and you've got to ignore the mess. And it smells like Vegemite on toast. And you go into the salon, and basically it's just a chair in front of a trough that you lean your head over. Like, and you can hear Peppa Pig, or like, that's not for me. And in fact, this controversial or not, I actually don't care. Um, I wouldn't coach someone like that.
No.
I wouldn't. I'm not interested. It doesn't align with what I believe. I respect the industry more than that lack of professionalism bastardizing the reputation of the industry. Not interested. Can you go to the servo to get cash? Like, oh God, like give me a break. Stop it. And look, you get what you deserve. Your clients are going to be anyway. Let's not get banned off Apple and Spotify. But
Exactly. The industry deserves better, let's just say that.
yeah. However, uh, I mentioned before, I said to Linda, I had a home-based salon owner that employed team, and like her business was rocking and amazing and great. And Linda said, "Yeah, but she wasn't a sole operator." Oh yeah, true. Can't tell that story. So you can have an incredible setup at home. It's layered. It's harder to attract clients.
True. I think you can be an awesome sole operator from home if you approach it from a level of professionalism where you have that separate space. It's not just for the client's benefit, but also for your time and boundaries benefit. To
Mm,
have that space, that dedicated space that is accessible without having to go through and listen to Peppa Pig and everything else that's going on, where you still are coming into the space where you are the most important thing, not the kids eating Vegemite watching Peppa Pig.
mm.
So
Yeah,
I think it's possible.
yeah,
Is it
absolutely.
difficult? Is it going to cost you? Yes, because you're probably going to have to make some alterations to your home, or maybe you're going to build a dedicated studio.
Mm.
I know two people who have dedicated studios. One is in the massage therapy care
Oh
realm,
yes.
and one is in the hair realm. Both of them
Mm.
do it beautifully.
Yeah.
Um, the massage therapy is a dedicated studio. It's at their home in the backyard, but you access it in and out, even your car, everything completely separately from the house. And it's
Mm.
very professional when you go in. The hair one is in this person's home. You access through the front door, but it's that first door that you go into,
Mm.
and it's when once you're in there, you
You're
are in
good.
the salon.
Yeah.
Chandeliers, beautiful space, separate basin area, beautiful massage
Mm.
chair, no kids, nothing. It's all sealed off.
Mm.
So you can, and you can make it work for you. I think the hardest thing, once you've done that setup, the hardest thing is the boundaries of
Yeah.
when the kids come home at this time, but I've still
Yeah.
got my client, Jay. How am I going to
Ec-
handle that? So, you have to educate the kids that at certain times they have to be quieter, or who knows? I don't know, but that's a layer of complexity you have to think about. Or you work in the mornings and you only work between those hours where you've got free space.
Yeah.
You know.
Look, and I've worked in lots of different capacities with solo operators and people that employ team from home. I go in with that extra layer of caution, do my research because I am fussy. Um, I think for the last few minutes, I've come to you, Linda, and I've said I'm going to rent a chair, or I'm going to do a percentage split. You're a salon owner thinking the money sounds good. I won't have to even look at you. You got your own clients, FPOS, whatever. And you let me pick my own hours. And like, it's attractive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Until the rest of your team go, we're all pitching in and helping each other. I know
Mm,
she's independent, but like you leave one speck of dust or one
mm,
towel, one
mm.
tint bowl, one wax strip, whatever, out of place, and she's left early, that's gonna kick shit up.
Yeah. I think
Different
if
rules,
you,
different people.
yeah, I think if you are thinking about doing that as a business owner and renting some of your space, be it a chair or be it a room, I think you do still need to have some house rules, if you like. I think that's something that you need to discuss and put into whatever contract that you come with, because there are complexities, and the rest of the team will be especially watching that renter person
Yeah.
because there's going to be a little level of them rubbing up against each other in a little bit of friction, perhaps,
Yep.
because the same rules don't apply. So you're going to have to be clear on the things you can be clear on, which is,
Is she
the
on a
sh-
better wicket than me?
yeah. So the shared space rules have to just be quite clear.
Mm. I know that we've got clients that do different variations of mixed and what have you, and ones that it's bitten in the bum, and ones that it works really well with. I know that for me, everyone's got different values and ideals on how they want to run their business with people in their business, and I think by the time I in my salon was to go, well, my values are the same. So they would need to stick to the values of client service and customer experience. And also I wouldn't want the reputation of, oh, I went there for a haircut and it was only $40. I pay 120. I know I'd want them to charge very similar prices, if not the same. And I want them to do set hours and I'd want them to be an employee. No, it's not a good fit.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not for me.
Yeah,
And I think sometimes it comes down to that, doesn't it?
yeah, and they're the
Yeah.
perfect questions to ask a client, one of our coaching clients who is thinking about going down that realm because I think it's an easy way to get an extra $500 a week. Not necessarily. It can cause a lot of collateral damage, shall we say?
Collateral damage. Yeah,
Collateral damage.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I just think that, like you referenced before, uh, I couldn't work in a space or have people working in my space that didn't say hello and goodbye when they were leaving. It'd kill me.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I think
Um,
it is a culture and values thing for sure.
yeah, absolutely. And I honestly, it's not a control thing. It's not, you will say hello to me, you will say goodbye, and you will charge my amount, and you will stay at 5 p.m. I think it's just it's alignment, everyone
Yeah.
being on the same page, and standards. I wouldn't want to share a space with someone that wasn't in complete alignment and shared my values. However, I never say never.
Mm.
I think if I stumbled across someone, I wouldn't recruit, but if I stumbled across someone that was the right person, right timing, right everything, yeah, I'd consider it.
Mm.
But it would be rare.
Yeah, it's a bit like having someone new in your friendship group. You might stumble across someone and they're a good fit and they become kind of big part of your group. But if you are actively looking for friends, you'd want to make sure that they had a very similar values to you
Yeah, absolutely.
because you
Can you
don't
imagine
want,
our interview process if we were interviewing for friends? No bastard would. Good luck to them. That's all I can
yeah,
say.
good luck. Well, yeah, maybe I wouldn't get any more new friends, but
Yeah,
it is what it is.
yeah, that's right.
I've
Exactly.
become very discerning, shall we say.
Yeah. Cheers to dying lonely, hey?
Yeah, absolutely. No, well,
All right. How will I wrap this up? Again, I feel like the
I don't know how to
disclaimer.
wrap it up, Jay.
What's that?
I said, I don't know how you're going to wrap this up. I feel like we've gone in a million different
We
directions.
have. We always do. Um, I'm going to wrap it up by saying I'm not biased apart from that one thing. uh, I think you can make it work. You should make it work. You shouldn't make it work. You should consider all of the things. You should crunch your numbers. You should have good boundaries. You should sleep on it. I think there's all the things. And if you're in it, you deserve the balance. You deserve the time. You deserve growth. You deserve the high standards. You deserve the money. Do it properly. or go back in the shopfront environment because it ain't worth it.
Yeah.
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 Uh,
Absolutely.
but if you're going to do it, double down, do it bloody well.
Mm.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, what's it doing to your confidence and self-worth doing a half-assed job,
Yeah.
if that's what you're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All
I'm an
right.
all in or all out kind of person. You
Yeah.
probably know that. So I think it's the same, in work as well. It's either you're in it and you're in it and you give the best of it, or you're not in it. It's not for you. Make a decision elsewhere.
Yeah.
Make a choice
Absolutely.
for something else. Yeah.
Exactly. Alrighty. Now, depending on when you are listening to this episode, you'll see in the show notes that there's either an expression of interest pre-launch for our Thriving Onesie program, or we have replaced it with the link to sign up. So do that. Either way, click the link and sign up, express your interest. It's going to be amazing. Can't wait for the launch.
I can't
Mm,
wait to meet different people who are doing all of this and
mm,
finding out their challenges and learning from them, but also being able to assist them from a completely non-biased perspective. So,
mm.
or maybe a little bit biased, who knows? But
Yeah,
I think it's a great opportunity to be able to help a whole lot of people out there who deserve it, who need it.
mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Linda. That was awesome.
pleasure.
See you next time.
Yep. See you next time. Bye.